Hello everyone, this is Diane with my design team project for Artzology. I'm sorry, my mind blanked. This is my design team project for Artzology. I will link her shop below. And this kit, I used two different digitals. I used Abundant Roses #1 and I used TN Journal that she has in there. So I split everything up into three. I actually printed the roses twice onto cardstock, and like I said in a previous video, they come 4 to a sheet. They're about 4 by 6, I think. I measured them once. Yeah, 4 by 5. Yeah, they're about 4 by 5. And they're 4 on a sheet. But when I printed them, 5 sheets, I printed 3 sheets just as they were, and then 2 sheets I put both on one page, so that there were 4 cards, or 8 cards to a page, and they came out 2 1/8 by 3 inches. So I had 2 sizes to work with. So let's just go through these journals. I used an old Prima paper. It's a cardstock paper with ledger on it and some pretty designs. That's what I used for the covers of these journals. They are slightly larger, I think, wider than a TN, so that they probably won't work in your traveler's notebook if you have one. I just made them to be standalone journals. So that's what it looks like. I used one of the larger, well, the regular size rose cards on the front with this vintage loosely woven fabric that I frayed along the edges, and a little piece of lace, and then some vintage lace along the front and back edges. I stitched a sheer ribbon onto the cover, and then I glued on some vintage blue and cream crocheted trim. This came from TLC Creates Vintage. This journal belongs to. All the other digitals are from Artzology. So here's one of the images from the TN kit that she has. And it's full of vintage ladies, but from different time periods. I just think she's so pretty. This is actually from a piece of scrapbook paper. It's this sheet from a Recollections pad of paper. And I just cut circle out and then glued it to some cardstock. A couple of the sheets of this kit, a few of the sheets, I printed extras of and then cut them apart so that I could make ephemera pieces out of them. And this is what I had left over from what I cut or printed extra. So I just cut various pieces out and glued them or sewed them to pieces of paper. This is just a scrapbook paper. This is a scrap of the Prima ledger paper. Here's a fabric flip. I love this blue and yellow floral and this blue lace. I just got them in a Happy Mail. And then that daisy trim there. I didn't do any copy dyeing or distress ink or anything. I just wanted it to be a fresh look. I did stamp on the pages, on some of the blank pages. This is one of the pages from the kit. This was also, I printed this extra and cut out this doily and the daisies and used them as ephemera. There's a piece of graph paper. This is the same pad of Recollection scrapbook paper. Here's one of the smaller cards. And here's one of the pages that I had cut apart. There's a stamp. I used a square doily from Denise's shop, A Tattered Dream, and one of the small cards, and I just folded the doily over and then stitched these small pieces on it also. And it's a little tuck spot. This is one of the pieces that I cut from the extra sheets. Vintage ledger paper right here. This is a a sheet of a list paper, and I just cut that part off and glued it on. Thought it went very well with this paper. That's a Stampin' Up! Stamp. These envelopes that I put in the center are from a pad, a little booklet of items that Alette brought me from the Netherlands. So this envelope came from the Netherlands. There's a slot here to tuck this flap in, and there are some semicircle slots here, so you could measure and cut a card and stick it in there. And this is a part of the papers that I cut apart. I just use that to put inside. And here's a scrap of the ledger cardstock, and I just put on a couple scraps of fabric. And I did make this tag. Well, I was going to say I made it on video, but I don't know if I did. I did put the lace and stuff in it on video, but anyway, there's vintage music behind it. It's just a white shipping tag and one of the small rose cards. A piece of fabric strip that I got from Denise. She sent that to me. And some pink lace and pink silk ribbon, a pink bulb pin, and a little heart charm. And here's one of the sheets that I printed. This is the same one that's in the front, actually. Maybe I should swap this out with a different journal so that somebody else can have this image. Because in this pocket in every book, I used a half of a page and folded it up. So I'm going to put a different one in there. But it's a rose pocket with a little bit of ribbon and lace stitched on there. There's a pink guest check. And then on the back, again, it has the crochet trim and another pocket made with the ledger. These are some of the pieces that I cut from that paper and a little scrap of music paper. And then I made a little booklet out of one of the flower tags or cards, and it has vintage ledger, music paper, and a little bit of lace, and then some of the leftover pieces of paper, including another piece of vintage ledger paper. I didn't put names on these. I'll just name this one number 1. Number 2 has a blue ribbon, blue satin ribbon. And it has a smaller rose card on the front because it has this beautiful Kate Greenaway image down here that I didn't want to cover up. It's just such a pretty paper. But I put the same fabric behind it, a bit of vintage lace here and a bit of white lace there. And then this lace trim that has some little tiny pearls on it. I love this satin ribbon, embroidered ribbon that I put on the front and back. I believe someone sent that to me. I don't think I bought that anywhere. And this is actually from Porch Swing Design. She has one printable that just has an assortment of nameplates for journals this journal belongs to. Again, these are pieces that I cut from the pages. There's another fabric flip. I use the same stamps in all of the books, the same scrapbook papers. The printed papers, the printables will vary, and the rose cards are different. So everything else is the same. There's the envelope in this one. girl with her bike. This one needs a card. So I'll put this one in here. I think actually this is the card that belongs up there, but I'm going to leave it as it is. And I will put this one in here. I take all the cards out when I'm sewing them together. Then I take them all out, leave them in a pile in order, and then go back through the book and try to put them back where I first had them. Sometimes I don't always, but it doesn't really matter. You can move them around yourself if you want to. I love that rose card. And then number 3, I got to put these in order on my table here so I know which ones to list as 1, 2, and 3. Number 3 has a pink sheer ribbon, a beautiful pink rose, and this is just a white cotton fabric behind it with a little bit of trim here with little pom-pom type things, and this piece of lace. It's a green ledger with a little bit of pink up here. It says Simple and Sweet Memories, and this has some eyelet on the edge. This is also a porch swing design book plate, and it's got pink and cream striped ribbon on the front and back. Love this image. These are cut from the papers. This fabric flip has a little bit of flocking on the fabric. It's a vintage fabric. This is an element cut from the paper. As is this. So like I said, they're all pretty much the same. So if you don't get to the one you want before someone else does, you know, the next one's pretty much the same. This one has a few pieces of lace there, little scraps. I print my images on a really nice, I forgot the weight. I'm not very good at remembering numbers, but it's a presentation paper by HP. I get it from Amazon. But when I was downstairs, my laptop's downstairs most of the time because it's kind of big to be up here. Here's a piece of that doily that I cut from the paper, and this also came from the paper. So I had to print some more papers because I had taken some and cut them up. So when I was downstairs, I just went ahead and printed papers that I needed. And I forgot that I had put my lesser expensive paper in there for some other purpose. So a few of the sheets are printed on a thinner paper, and you'll be able to see which ones they are. But I put them in. This is one. It's still good. It's still a good printed paper. So this is number 3 with the pink sheer ribbon. This is number 2 with the blue satin ribbon. And number 1 has a cream sheer ribbon. They will be in my shop when the video is up. So they're there waiting for you right now. Go have a look. And then also check out the items that I just listed yesterday. I've got a few things left in there. So thank you very much for helping to support my shop. I really, really appreciate it. I love you all, and I will be back again soon. My shop will be closing. I don't know what day I'll close it. I'm leaving on the 14th, so I'll probably close it at least 2 days before I leave, so I don't leave any. I have to make sure I mail whatever is ordered, so I want to give myself a couple days for that. So by the 12th, my shop will be closed until probably the 1st of July. So go on and see what's there that you want to pick up before I close my shop down for a short period of time. But I will be back. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.